Welcome back, and here we shall learn the notation for capturing with a pawn. So as we know that pawn capture involves a change of file. Pawn captures one square diagonally to the left or right. That is what we have learned. So how to record notation for capturing with a pawn? Let me read out this section. So the notation for pawn capture is recorded in the following order. Number 1, the file from which the pawn departs. As I said, it involves the change of file. Second one, the symbol of capture, again which is indicated by a small x. Third one is the arrival square of the pawn after capture. And finally the fourth point, in case it's a check or checkmate, the respective symbol for the same. So I will show you 5 examples which will help you in getting acquainted to record notation for a capture with a pawn. Example number 1 here, it's turn of black and he decides to capture the white pawn on f5 with his pawn on e6. So the notation would be E, that is, the pawn is departing from the file. So we don't write the square name, we don't write E6, only E, the file from which the pawn departs, followed by X, that is the small sign indicating a capture, and then the square on which the capturing is done, that is E captures F5. Let us just go back, and here we see that black also has the option of capturing the f5 pawn with his g6 pawn. So here in this case, if he decides to go ahead with this capture, it would be recorded as G captures f5, indicating that the pawn which was standing on the G file, that is the G6 square, is capturing on the f5. What you have captured is not important, only the square on which you are doing the capturing. And now it's turn of white and he wants to capture the pawn on f5 with his g4 pawn. So again the notation would be G captures f5. And now turn of black, let us just go to the start position again. He played E captures f5. Turn of white, he played G captures f5, and now again it's turn of black and he captured this. So again it would be recorded as G captures f5. So very simple, just remember this. First order is the file from which the pawn departs. Second is the small x, that is the capture sign indicating a capture, and third one is the square of arrival, and fourth one, in case it's a check or checkmate, we use that symbol. Our next example, it's turn of white, his pawn on b3 decides to capture this knight on c4. So the notation would be recorded as B captures c4, B into c4, that is how we write. Example number 3, it's turn of white, his pawn on g4 is capturing the bishop on f5. The notation is G into f5. G captures f5, and of course while writing that capture sign is a small x, so G into f5. While speaking I use the word capture, but you can also use that word into, G into f5 or G captures f5, whatever like you are comfortable with. But while writing it will be G, then small x, and then f5. Example number 4, and it's turn of black and he decides to capture the rook on e5 with his pawn on f6. So the notation would be recorded as F captures e5, F into e5. And finally the concluding example in this section, it's turn of black. He has his pawn on g4 and he decides to capture the queen of white on h3. So it would be recorded as G into h3. So friends, I hope you must have understood this idea of recording capture with a pawn. Of course, it's very easy, and I feel only few minutes practice and you will perfectly get acquainted with all this recording. With this, I take your leave for now and will be back with the next chapter in this segment of algebraic chess notations.